Alright, so to make croissants, first you have to make the dough. So, since I didn't have a standing mixer, I just used a wooden spoon in my hands. And so first, you mix together all the ingredients, which is 4 cups of flour, 5 ounces of cold water, 5 ounces of whole milk, 2 ounces of sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of soft unsalted butter, a tablespoon of yeast, 2 1/4 teaspoon of table salt. And so you mix that all together in a bowl, and then you got your dough. Once you're done making the dough, you put all that in the fridge overnight. The next day, you make your butter layer. Cut the cold butter into 1/2-inch thick slabs. Arrange the pieces on parchment paper and make it form a 5 to 6-inch square. Now put a piece of parchment paper over that and make it into a 7.5-inch square by pounding it out with a rolling pin. So now you put the butter in the fridge, take the dough out, and roll it into a 10.5-inch square. 20 minutes pass, take the butter back out, put the butter in the middle of the square, and put the 4 corners over the butter. Be sure to seal the butter in so it doesn't leak out when it's being cooked. Now roll the dough into 8 by 24 inches, and then you're going to fold it into thirds. Make sure to fold it from one side a third of the way, and then fold it from the other side a third of the way. So put it back in the fridge for 20 minutes, and then do it again, rolling on the open ends. Do the same thing, put it in the fridge, roll it again, do the same thing, put it in the fridge, roll it again, do the same thing, put it in the fridge, roll it again, and then refrigerate it overnight. So, the next day you roll it into 8 by 44 inches. Here I had a little bit of trouble because I don't know if it was just some moisture from the inside of the bag when it condensated, or if I had some water on the table, but it made my dough incredibly moist. So when I started to roll it out to 44 inches, it started to sort of break apart and become very sticky on the bottom. And so that's why your croissant may taste like flour. Well, it does taste like flour because I had to add so much to sort of compensate for the amount of moisture that was on the bottom of the dough. So anyway, cut it into 8 by 44 inches, cutting off the curved edges, and then you're going to make indentions every 5 inches on the bottom. Because there's 20 of you, I had to make indentions on the 4-inch mark, 4 inches apart. Alright, and then you make indentions on the top, starting at 2.5 inches and then going 4 from there. Cut diagonally across and then cut the diagonal in half. Now you should have a triangle. Roll from the larger base down to the tip. It told me to make 1/2-inch notches in the center of the short side. I didn't really know what that meant, so I just cut a little slit towards the bottom or the top of the triangle. So after that, since my dough was incredibly poorly made, I couldn't really curve in the sides, which you're supposed to, so I'll put a picture of that in here of what you're supposed to do. So you take your croissants and then you cover them in egg wash, which is just an egg with a teaspoon of water. You'll know the croissants are ready if it's distinctly larger, and it will wiggle when you shake it. So baking, you're going to bake it on the top rack and the second to the bottom rack. Put it on 425 for a conventional oven. I think I messed up here because I didn't know if I had convection oven, which I know is just sort of hot air, or a conventional oven. So I did conventional, which I think is why they're burned on the outside. But anyway, I put it to 425 instead of 400, which you would need to do for a convection oven. So I put them in there for 10 minutes, then took them out, rotated them 180 degrees, and put the top one on the bottom and the bottom one on the top. Then cooked it for 10 more minutes. I took them out, and that is how you make a croissant.